on your way and ready to prep your meals. Alrighty. So, thanks for coming, obviously, to take the time to go through the challenge. It's it is 45 days, so it's going to be shorter than in the past, and just a good chance to reset and get back to healthy eating over the course of these 45 days. Okay, so we all know that the challenge is, it's really it's a body transformation. Now it's 45 days opposed to the 8 weeks, and it's designed to help members adopt the healthier lifestyle, learn more about the role nutrition plays in their overall health and wellness. It's divided over the 4 phases. We will get into the phases a little bit more into the presentation, but basically the nutrition, the caloric level does not change. The phases do not change throughout the course of each phase. But what you're going to gain through each phase is more nutrition knowledge, more education, so that you can, kind of build your toolbox for healthy eating throughout the course of your life. Okay, next slide. We're trying to navigate through the Zoom. Here we go. Okay, so what we're basically covering is obviously defining what, I'm not going to go too much, we all know what F45 training is. It's HIIT style training. We're going to go through the success measures. Obviously the success measures are going to be a little different now. We're not doing in-body scans, so we'll go through that a little bit, what the different nutrition phases are. The F45 Challenge portal and the app, a little bit on that, just to refresh you guys. And then the requirements, the different measurement requirements, we'll go into a little more detail on that, what your why is, and then we do have a little prize reveal at the end, and we'll talk about the next steps. So yeah, I mean, I think we all know, this is what F45 is. I hope we all know what it is. It's the HIIT training. The beauty about the HIIT training, so if you are aiming to do it every day, is that while you're sitting on the couch watching Netflix later maybe in the day, you are still burning calories, because the calorie burn really is going to go over the course of 24 hours. So so that's definitely a good thing while you are maybe chilling a little more these days. So what's going to be included in the challenge? This is a little bit different in that we have kind of shifted to at-home workouts. So on our Instagram page, on the what is it, the footage, or not the story, the actual, is it called footage feed? There is a schedule. So we will be maintaining that schedule right now as potentially more members do come on to the F45 at home. We may be looking at another live class throughout the day, but right now we have an F45 at home live at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then we frantically try to upload that as quickly as we can and get that onto an available anytime, so that you can do that workout when it's convenient to you throughout the day. And then those workouts typically are staying on for a few days. And, the stretch stays on. We've kept the stretch on. We've kept the gravity on, so that you've always got something to do there. And those are led by our Joshua Creek coaches. The challenge portal is, obviously that's where you're going to get all of your wealth of information. That provides the tools that you need to succeed and create those lifelong habits. That's where everything is stored. That's the F45challenge.com or the app, the F45 Challenge app. That's where you're getting your weekly meal plans, the shopping lists, the library of all of the different recipes. We will probably be using that recipe library maybe a little more this time, because going out to the grocery stores is not as feasible as it has been in the past. So we may be wanting to pare down what we're making, maybe, find some substitutions throughout that library. So that's, there's definitely a lot of options within there. You're going to find your goal and stat tracking tool here, as well as there's going to be a lot more emphasis on this challenge in terms of the articles you're going to be receiving. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on mental health. There's already a few articles that have been uploaded recently on just how to, manage and keep your health and wellness on track throughout an isolation and setting up your cupboards for, quarantine, all of that. So those are already up there, and you can expect more of those. Also immune boosting articles. You'll see more of that kind of stuff happening. We're going to be doing a weekly Zoom check-in for those that are doing the challenge, as well as we will continue the online support via WhatsApp. And this is really key right now to, stay socially connected with your JC community. And of course, there's always, one-on-one with myself, and, any questions you have, we will, keep you motivated and keep you supported throughout this. And of course, also included is the chance to win the studio prize. Alrighty, so the tools that have changed a little bit, obviously, is that we don't have, obviously, access to the in-body tool anymore. So we are going to be primarily focusing on weight loss and photos for overall physical transformation. And that's really if you want to enter to win the prize at the end. So we will, if you are going to be taking part in the challenge, we will send you information on how to, kind of do that on a consistent measure to take your weight and do your photos. We'll provide you all the information for that through the guidance from the headquarters and what they're looking for. In terms of what we are looking for, there will be one prize, and that will be for like a combination of the percentage weight change as well as the physical transformation that occurs over the time. I mean, at the end of the day, too, the challenge is really, it's about improving your health and wellness. So, there's subjective measures that come into play as well. I mean, especially at this time when, we're a little more stressed, have you noticed a change throughout the course of the challenge with your stress level decreasing? Do you have more energy? Do you feel stronger? All of those are tools to measure your success as well. It's just not something that we can physically measure for you, but, also equally important. Okay, the phases. This is a lot of information on one page, but basically, it's the same phases that we saw in Challenge 25. They're just shortened a little bit. So phase 1 is going to be your spring training phase, and the first 3 phases are all 10 days, and phase 4 is going to be a little longer with 15 days. So again, the nutrition balance, the calorie level does not change throughout each of these phases. It's going to be the same caloric deficit that you're going to be seeing throughout, but what will change is the building of nutrition education that comes from each phase. Okay, so really in phase 1, the spring training phase, that's where you're going to be learning how to use the calorie calculators to estimate your total daily energy needs. And of course, I can help you through this. On the next slide, we'll learn more about what is available to you. We won't go there quite yet, but yeah, it's where we did all of this in the last challenge, calculating your BMR, the basal metabolic rate, and then what the number of calories that you need in a day to maintain your weight, and then we will play around with that number to set your goals. Phase 2, we get more into, that's the regular season, and that's learning more about the macronutrients, your carbohydrates, your fats, your proteins. This is about understanding how and when to refuel with carbs and proteins and fats. That's going to optimize your workout. It's going to help you with either weight loss or muscle gains. Choosing that balance is really key, so you'll learn more about that. Phase 3, we get into the championship round, and this is really focusing more on learning about micronutrients, building the inner strength of your body through vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics. All of that will be what you're focusing on in phase 3. And then, of course, our final phase is the World Series phase, and this is where we're just really coming into that full circle moment. It really takes 6 to 8 weeks to form new habits. So this is where you're kind of coming into that realization of, are the habits sticking? Have you noticed any change? Are you, what have you gained throughout? And every challenge that I've done, I've always gained a different nugget. So I find I'm always getting, another little nugget that's coming through each challenge. So, it does take that time, the 6 to 8 weeks to form those habits. So this is when you should start seeing those. And I mean, really, health is for life. So if you stay focused on what you eat, as well as the lifestyle habits you've incorporated through the challenge, doing the regular F45 classes in the morning, throughout the day, you will see these transformative results that continue to happen after the challenge ends. And yeah, so that's those phases. And then, of course, the maintenance phase. So that's when we're going to have a 14-day break between the challenge. This is where the caloric level in the meals comes up a little higher, and it's still balanced, healthy eating. It's just at a little higher caloric level. Okay. So when you go to F45challenge.com or the challenge portal, on the first page, the dashboard, you are going to see this calculate your BMR little tool. The base calorie levels for the challenge is, for females, it's 1,300 calories. For males, it's 1,900 calories. I mean, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, so we need to adjust your caloric level based on what your daily energy expenditure is, as well as what your goals are. So so the initial thing you will do is you would go in and you would press on the calculate your BMR button, and then the next slide will be, so this is your BMR calculator. So basically what you will do is you will enter your gender, if you wanted an imperial or metric, your height, your weight, your age, and then you need to provide the big variable is your activity level. So there's 5 different activity levels there. There's sedentary, lightly active, moderately active, and so on. And that activity level is going to drive where your calorie level is set at for maintenance. So the BMR is the calories that your body needs at rest just to sustain itself. The maintenance calories that come into play, that 2,088 calories, is when you're adding an activity factor in, so when you're actually moving and doing exercise and whatnot. And it's probably going to be a little lower now that we're at home and not moving as much throughout the day. So once you've got that number, that's where you're going to set your goals from. So if you are looking at losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, we would reduce that number by 500 calories per day, and that would kind of drive you into around the 1 to 2 pound weight loss per week. So this is a little bit of the calorie guide that is given to you as well in the challenge portal. I don't have the fats on there as well, but you're probably going to be wanting to, again, with groceries being a little more difficult to obtain right now, supplementing. So this is a really good tool to be using so that you can kind of play around a little bit more with the meal plan based on what you've got in your house. I also recommend looking at the meal plans and only picking, maybe 1 or 2 breakfasts throughout the week and sticking with those, maybe 1 or 2 lunches and sticking with those, not kind of going and taking the challenge full on. And I recommend that at any point when we do the challenges, because it can get a little overwhelming. So the other thing you can do, one site I go on to a lot, especially in my dietitian days, was the Canadian Nutrient File. So you can just Google Canadian Nutrient File. You can find a lot more food items to enter in if you're unsure of the protein level, the calorie level, carbs, you name it. It's all available for you in a lot of food items. So this is week 1. This is some of the items you will see in week 1. A lot of great recipes here. And again, don't be overwhelmed by it. You can pick and choose. You just it depends on what your goals are. But if you were following the plan for the day, for females, it would be 1,300 calories. For males, it would be 1,900 calories. And then we would just supplement based on what your goals are. And again, for those of you who have, again, gone through the challenge portal or F45challenge.com, really, you're going to get an option of 3 different meal plans: the mainstream, the vegetarian, and the vegan. So the mainstream is your meat-based one. And then you're going to get shopping lists that will match the plan that you have chosen. If you wanted to toggle between the different dietary choices, you would need to update that shopping list manually. You're going to get a lot of education on nutrition, fitness, again, what I talked about more on the focus of the isolation and mental health, immune boosting foods, all of that will be kind of the focus this time around. There's also a goal tracking system. So this is where you really can help it helps to make yourself accountable if you go in every day and check off, did you exercise to sweat, did you follow the meal plan, and a few other items on there, and your goal is to get 30 points per day. And of course there's a stats tracker. And while you're doing the this time doing the challenge, we do recommend that you can do a weigh-in every 14 days. Again, you just want to keep all measures consistent when you're doing it, same time of day, same clothing that you're wearing, all of that, just to make it as consistent as possible. And then we'll just go through this quickly. This is just, some of the stuff you're going to find on F45challenge.com. Again, this is like what your a one-day meal plan would look like. And then these are some of the current articles that I mentioned. So there's a great article actually up there from with Corey about just even how to perform a proper deadlift, how to perform a proper squat while you're at home, just to keep you, we're doing our best to watch your form while we're doing the live. But if you're not doing the live, we're not able to see how things are going. So there's a little guidance on just setting yourself up for success at home doing the workouts. And yeah, lots of great articles there. And this is just the goal tracking, as I mentioned, following the meal plan, just, going in and checking those boxes off every day is just another tool to help keep you accountable. And of course, that's your tracking tool for your weight that we'll be doing at this point. Okay, so measurement requirements, there again, as I mentioned, there's a standardized process. If you do choose to do the challenge, then we will send you the information about the process that is recommended by headquarters to take your photos and your weight measurements. It is mandatory to do these measurements to compete for the in-studio prize, and you obviously will be doing these measurements in the comfort of your own home. We do require that the before photo and the weight is completed by end of day on Monday, and for the after one, it's on the last day of the challenge. And then that's just, I mean, this is, the only images we do have is for an 8-week challenge, but this is what we would be looking at as the overall transformation of a body weight loss and physical transformation, not the body fat loss at this point. So really, when you're taking on any type of any of these challenges, it's really important to really dig into your why. Why are you doing this? What's in it for you? That's in a sense your goal. And I recommend posting this in various spots that you frequent, on your phone and your fridge, just to keep the goal front of mind for yourself, so that it just keeps you, again, accountable and remembering why you're actually taking this challenge on. Okay, the prize. F45 headquarters has just launched these, we're calling them lit kits. And it's basically some of the equipment that you would find in our studio that we use a lot for our, not so much our gravity, but some agility stuff and some, some cardio stuff that you can take on the go when traveling, or, when you're just obviously doing the workouts at home right now. So those will be coming up very soon, and we will be that will be sent to the winner of this challenge. Yeah. So our parties will look a little different this time around, but we will definitely be doing a Zoom social at the end of the challenge to announce our winner, and yeah, we will make sure that we're toasting each and every one of you that do this challenge. Yeah, so basically for next steps, we, for those of you that are already a member on our at-home program, you just need to confirm participation. I know some of you have done that already, so that's awesome, and we'll send you what the next steps are in terms of taking measurements and all of that. I highly recommend that you do book your training sessions in your own calendar, not in our calendar, but to, you know, aim for those 5 to 6 times per week. It just keeps you into a routine. Routine is really important right now, and you know, so that's you know, book those sessions in for your own self. And then if you don't already have an F45 Challenge account, and you know, the app available to yourself, make sure that you download the app and then register for your account. And then review week one. Get that kitchen prepped as best as it's going to work for you. You know, I don't recommend going out in the grocery stores frequently. So, you know, try to stick to that once per week. Or, you know, if you're able to get groceries delivered, that's great too. But, you know, use what you've got available to yourself and cater the plan accordingly. If you're not a member already, then just email us for more information how to get started with the F45 Live membership. And that's just really, you know, if you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. But if you schedule it, it's real. There you go.